bring out, feel free to bring.
Shalom, 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 my brothers and sisters of the nation of Israel. Welcome. Happy Sabbath to you all. I'm your brother Ananias.
Brother Ezekiel.
And Brother Yakub.
We are A.O.I, the Awakening of Israel. And like we say all the time, welcome. And it's an honor, a privilege to be able to come before you as always, to be able to give you another edifying lesson with hopes and regards of edifying our brothers and sisters, uplifting and restoring our nation of people, but turning our focus back to the Most High. But before we get started, as always, we want to give our honor, glory, and praise to Yahweh by Hashem Yahweh Shai. Yahweh being the Heavenly Father, Yahweh Shai being who the world calls Christ, and through his strength, sacrifice, and example, we are all able to be here tonight to be edified. But tonight's class is going to be taught by the mighty brother Ezekiel. So I'm going to pass the reins to my brother.
Shalom, thanks everybody for tuning in to another Sabbath class. Today's title of the class is going to be called Dealing with a Discontented Heart. Dealing with a discontented heart. So first we're going to get the definition of discontented. And the definition of discontented is dissatisfied, especially with one's circumstance. You know, and sometimes your circumstances could be good circumstances, but you're still dissatisfied with. So that's what we're going to be speaking on tonight rather. So let's get Hebrews chapter 13 and verse 5.
All right. The book of Hebrews chapter 13, verse 5. And it reads, excuse me. Let your conversation be without covetousness, and be content with such things as you have, for he have said, I will never leave thee nor forsake thee.
See that the Most High said that I will never leave thee nor forsake thee, meaning don't be eager or have excessive desire for wealth or possession. The key word in that is excessive. You understand? And the reason being is in Hebrews 13 and 5, the Most High said that he will never leave thee nor forsake thee. So whatever situation that you're going through, in the back of your mind, you should know that whatever your situation is, the Most High is right there with you. That's one thing you have to remember. Some people get so bent out of shape about the predicament that they forget that they are a child of the Most High. They forget that they got a father other than their earthly father who's going to take care of them if they're doing what they're supposed to be doing. So whatever your situation is, you have to remember that the Most High said that he would never forsake thee. You know?
That's right.
But from there, let's go to that's your assurance. You know, when the Most High said that he's never gonna forsake you, that's your assurance that, you know, the Most High got your back. You understand? So from there, let's go to Matthew chapter 6 and verse 33. And if y'all got any precepts y'all want to bring up, like I always say, feel free to bring them out. Matthew 6 and verse 33.
The book of Matthew, chapter 6 and verse 33. But seek ye first the kingdom of God and his righteousness, and all things shall be added unto you.
Right? It says, seek ye first the kingdom of God. So that's all we have to do. The first thing we have to do is seek the kingdom of the Most High. How do we do that? How do you seek the kingdom of the Most High? You seek the kingdom of the Most High by learning what his will is and applying his will in your day-to-day life. Keeping the commandments, celebrating the high holy days, doing everything that the Most High has commanded of you. That's the first thing that you should be doing. And if you do that, he's gonna give us, or he's gonna give you, us, all of us, whatever we need and more. But we have to be doing our part. You're not gonna get what you need and you constantly just doing what you want to do. We have to follow the rules of the Most High. And if you're following the rules of the Most High, therefore you're seeking the kingdom. because that's the only way you can seek the kingdom if you do your half. Do do what the Lord requires of you. If y'all understand, a lot of people want to understand why is things going wrong in my life, and not one time do they ever sit back and think, I ain't doing what I got to do. But yet and still, you want more and more and more. Yet and still, you need more and more and more. You ever sit back and think, why am I in this predicament? You believe in the Lord, you say you love the Lord, but you have to show action. You have to do what is required. Like I just said, do what is required. A lot of people who are doing what they are required to do of God are not going through a lot of the things that people who are not doing what the Most High said do. They're not going through the same circumstance and situation.
Right.
Because like the scripture said, like we just read, he said he would never forsake thee. He won't forsake the ones who doing the will of God. If you out there just acting a fool, doing what you want to do, got the Lord on the back burner, then maybe you you might feel like you forsaken, but the Lord, He's not gonna forsake you, but He's gonna put you through something to make something hit you on your head to say, hey, what am I doing wrong? You
That's
know,
right.
like you gotta think to yourself, like Arsenio Hall said something that make you say, after you be getting beat down so long by the Lord, some gonna make you say,
Bring it out.
But from there, let's go to from there, let's go to
Let me read verse 34 before you move on.
Go ahead.
It says, take therefore no thought for the morrow shall take thought for the things of itself. Sufficient unto the day is the evil thereof. So just like the brother was bringing out, you're doing things constantly, trying to go get something, trying to do this, when you should be focused on the Most High. When you focus on the Most High, you get a whole lot of things accomplished when you're trying to do the things that please Him. When you do the opposite, you find yourself lost and not getting things accomplished that you seek after. But when you do the things that's required of you, not falling victim to distractions, then you don't get things done. Or when you are distracted, you don't get things done and you find yourself in chaotic situations. Therefore, you're not content with your situation. You're discontented. You know what I'm saying? You end up going the opposite direction of what you're trying to get to. You're trying to get to the kingdom, but you're not happy in your situation. You're thinking about tomorrow. How am I gonna do this? How am I gonna do that? You constantly focus on tomorrow. You're not satisfied with what's going on. You're not even thinking about what's going on at that present moment. You know what I'm saying? You worried weeks down the road. You know what I'm saying? But when you do the things that's needed day to day, that's enough for you when you actually doing what's required of you as an Israelite. The Lord will fill you with those things, those missions to get accomplished every day. Then your day will be fulfilled. But it's on you, King.
right. And when we do what we supposed to be doing, the Lord, like I said, the Lord gonna give us what we need. He's not all the time gonna give us what we want, but He gonna give us what we need. Some of us praying for a car nicer than the car across the street where your neighbor live at. Want a car nicer than your neighbor. You want a house bigger than your cousin's house. You always trying to one up somebody, and that's like we title of the class, a covetous heart. I mean, excuse me, a discontented heart. You're not content with what you have. You might got a nice car, but by your neighbor having a nicer car, now you praying to the Lord to help you get a nicer car. But don't deal like that,
That's
you
right.
know. But from now let's go to Exodus chapter 15, verse 22 through 22 through 25. 22 through 25.
You said Exodus 15:22.
Yes, sir. Through 85. I mean, through 25. I'm sorry.
All right. Book of Exodus, chapter 15, verse 22. So Moses brought Israel from the Red Sea, and they went out into the wilderness of Shur.
Right.
And
So
they went,
this is after Moses brought the children of Israel through the Red Sea.
all right. And they went 3 days in the wilderness and found no water.
So they thirsty.
And when they came to Marah, they could not drink of the waters of Marah, for they were bitter. Therefore, the name of it is called Marah. And the people murmured against Moses, saying, "What shall we drink?"
Now they raising hell because they ain't got nothing to drink. Worrying the hell out of Moses, asking him, "What shall we drink?" Read.
And he cried unto the Lord, and the Lord showed him a tree, which when he had cast it into the waters were made sweet. There he made for them a statute and an ordinance, and there he proved them, and said, "If thou wilt diligently hearken to the voice of the Lord thy God, and will do that which is right in his sight, and will give ear to his commandments, and keep all his statutes, I will put none of these diseases upon thee, which I have brought upon the Egyptians, for I am the Lord that healeth thee."
Right. That's all I want on it. So that goes back to verse verse 25 go back to Hebrews 13 and 5 when the Lord said he will never forsake thee. And the Egyptians, after Moses bought them, he didn't free them from slavery, but that ain't good enough. I would rather be thirsty than be a slave under anybody. So he done came and freed these slaves out of captivity, freed the Israelites. And they, instead of being thankful or happy for what Moses did through the Most High, get them from Pharaoh and lead them through the Red Sea into freedom, we'll call it, after being in captivity. But they got the nerve to complain about war. And the Lord still showed them mercy by making it so they could get water after all that murmuring. So, like in Hebrews 13 and 5, the Most High say that he will never forsake thee. So that's a true statement. So these uh, Israelites should have been, you know, content with just being happy, being out of slavery. And that's not all that they complain about, but that's just one example,
Right.
you know. So title of the class is dealing with a discontented heart. And like I said, that's something that we have to realize that we have if you got this spirit on you, and we have to try to fix that.
That's right.
And Salakia, brother, if I could say something right quick.
Sure.
I was just gonna say, that's one reason why the Lord said we shouldn't be covetousness, because we like to covet things that the other nations have, and that the things that we have as a people. And like you brought out, you do have brothers that and sisters that's more fortunate than others, and we want to outdo them, or we want what they have, or want more. When you're not satisfied over the things that you do have, and that's a covetous spirit. You
Mm-hmm.
know, when we was brought here to captivity, we was brought here to captivity uh, uh, to be servants to another nation, and not to be millionaires and billionaires. Of course, we don't want to be servants and slaves to these people, but because of our disobedience, is what happened. But our people wants to, what they say in the world, be like the Joneses, and so therefore we not content. So that that's a law that we breaking. So we as a people got to wake up from that. We got to get away from that lifestyle of want to be discontent.
Right, right.
Shalom, brother.
Hey, shalom.
All
Where you
right.
going to next, King?
From there, let's go to Exodus chapter 16 and verse 4. Exodus 16, verse 4.
The book of Exodus, chapter 16, and verse 4. Then said the Lord unto Moses, Behold, I will rain bread from heaven for you, and the people shall go out and gather a certain, and gather a certain rate every day, that I may prove them whether they will walk in my law or no.
What scripture that was?
Exodus chapter 16, verse 4.
My bad. Let's get 16 and 8. I'm sorry.
Slocky, that might be me. Exodus 16 and 8. And Moses said, This shall be when the Lord shall give you in the evening flesh to eat, and in the morning bread to the full. For that the Lord heareth you murmurings, which ye murmur against him. And what are we? And what are we? Your murmurings are not against us, but against the Lord.
Right. It said, Your murmurings are not against us, but against the Lord. And I brought that scripture out to show that a lot of times, say, if you're dissatisfied with what you have, what the Lord and bless you with, and you complaining to one of your friends, you complaining to your sister, your brother about what you don't have, and you're not satisfied, not knowing, not realizing that the Lord gave you what you need. While I'm complaining to Ananias about I'm dissatisfied with I want another house. I'm tired of this house. I need something else. I'm complaining to Ananias, but the Lord and blessed me with a nice house. I'm not only complaining to the Ananias, I'm complaining to the Most High. Because he the one who blessed me with it. And I'm telling my brother Ananias, I don't appreciate this. The Lord hear me talking to him. So basically, I'm telling the Most High, I'm not satisfied with what you done blessed me with. And believe it or not, if you do too much of that, and then all of a sudden you hit rock bottom, and you wondering why, it's because the Most High will take what He gave and put you in the worst situation that you feel like you in. And He's gonna really let you know how it is to be without.
Right.
Because when you had it, you weren't satisfied with it. But from there, let's go to Job chapter 1 and verse 21. Job chapter 1
All
and
right.
verse 1.
Book of Job, chapter 1 and verse,
21.
was it 21?
Yes, sir.
All right. Book of Job, chapter 1, verse 21. And said, Naked came I out of my mother's womb, and naked shall I return thither. The
This is
Lord gave.
I was about to say this is when Job had lost his family and his riches. But continue.
The Lord gave, and the Lord hath taken away. Blessed be the name of the Lord.
That goes back to the point what I just was making about the Lord to give you something and then He'll take it away just as soon as He give it to you. So while you got it, you thank Him for it and be happy for it. Because just as soon as He gave it to you, He can take it away. That go for riches, wife, a husband, materialistic things that you've been blessed with. Thank the Most High for what He's giving you, and don't complain about it. Don't be discontented because, like the title of the class is dealing with a discontented heart. And discontented cause you more harm than good, whether you realize it or not. Now,
Let
let's
me bring
go.
out a precept right quick, King, just to go over what you were talking about.
Go ahead, brother.
Book of Wisdom of Solomon, chapter 1, verse 8. Wisdom of Solomon, chapter 1, verse 8. And this is where the brother was talking about speaking, like he was saying, if he was speaking to me about a situation that he didn't like or whatever, he would be not only talking to me, but the Most High at the same time, not unaware. This is Wisdom of Solomon, chapter 1, verse 8. It says, therefore, he that speaketh unrighteous things cannot be hid, neither shall vengeance, when it punish, pass by him. For the let me see, verse 10 said, for the ear of jealousy heareth all things, and the noise of murmurings is not hid. So the Most High here, all the murmurings that be going on, there's nothing that can be said or hid from the Most High. You know, he's omnipresent. He's always around. He is in the midst of everything. But he hears when we murmur, when we backbite. He hears all of that. He hears our thoughts. He sees our thoughts. You know. But I just brought that out to show you that that's written in the scriptures. And that's on you, King.
The precept. The precept. From now, let's go to Luke chapter 12, verse 13 through 15. Luke 12, 13 through 15.
The book of Luke, chapter 12, verse 13. And one of the company said unto him, Master, speak to my brother that he divide the inheritance with me. And he said unto him, Man, who made me a judge or a divider over you?
And who made me judge or divider? Read.
Verse 15. And he said unto them, Take heed and beware of covetousness. For a man's life consisteth not in the abundance of the things which he possesseth.
Right. It said, for a man's life consists not in the abundance of the things which he possesses. So, whether or not because by you possessing a lot of things, materialistic things, wealth, riches, gold, whatever it may be, it said a man's life consists not of the abundance of things which he possesses. Because these things that you possess, they're not going to determine how long you live.
Right.
If you got $50 billion in your bank account, that ain't gonna guarantee you to get into the kingdom of heaven. 100 billion on a man with a negative bank account can get in the kingdom because a man got 50 billion. That means nothing. Your riches, your wealth, your money, it means nothing. Our main concern is getting the kingdom. That's why I said, for a man's life consists not in the abundance of things which he possesses. That's why you can't look down on people because you at this level and they down here, your status in life. You're doing a lot better than this person. You can't look down on that man because that man probably get the kingdom before you.
That's right.
You know, a lot of people think that because they doing well, been doing well, that they just guaranteed to make it. God is on my side. He got to be on my side. He done blessed me with all this. But what you have to realize sometimes, the devil can bless you also. And a lot of times, that's your real teammate right there. You think you're getting it from the Lord. A lot of times, you get the devil, especially when you ain't doing or living according to the scripture. Cause I put it like this: Satan see you doing wrong. Guess what? You doing him a favor. You on you on his payroll, so he gonna break you off for doing wrong. You gonna accumulate a lot of stuff. It's a lot of people that accumulate a lot of stuff not doing what they supposed to do, going against the scripture. But that those blessings are not coming from the Most High.
Hey, can I play?
Can I say something about that, brother?
Go ahead, Ken.
Go ahead.
Yeah, there's a brother. I met a brother. He said that he'd be willing to sell his soul for some money. you know, and I thought he was just talking crazy. So I tried to reason with him. I didn't think I really didn't think he understood what I was asking, but he understood me completely. He knew what he was saying. So no matter how much I tried to make him reconsider that thought, the more I tried, the more he determined to say he would be willing to sell, you know, his soul for being rich. So,
Mm.
and a lot of
He told the
you're not the
beauty.
only one. And a lot of people out there probably see that. Yeah, and he's not the only one. And a lot of our people probably know a bunch of people that see a bunch of people like that, and without really knowing or realizing that's what they done to get their riches.
Mm-hmm. Like they say, a bunch of these singers and rappers do these days.
Right. Let me play this video right quick just to go into what you're talking about. You know, how possessions are not what make a man. You know, nor do they guarantee him life or guarantee him to wake up the next day. You
Right.
know, it's the mindset a lot of our sisters need to have, and a lot of our brothers need to have. What this sister's talking about right here.
I'll take a broke black man. I'll take what y'all consider as a broke black man because I understand that the value of a black man has nothing to do with how much money he got, what he drive, where he work, where he live, what he wear. That has nothing to do with his value. You could take all that away from a black man and he is still valuable. You know why? Because his value lies in his relationship with how he's after God's own heart. And we know that's big value out here. So I'll take what y'all consider as a broke black man. I said what I said. And my name is Sophia.
Oh, praises. You
That's
know what I'm
right.
saying? And when I heard that, it took me straight to the scriptures, you know, because the way they got the mindset of our brothers and our people this day in these modern times is that everybody's status or how good of a man is how many uh, bills he can pay, how much money he got in his pocket. That determines if he a good man or not. But when you go through the scriptures, nobody who was in the scriptures is recognized for the amount of money that they had. Nobody talks about Noah about no money. They talk about the faith that he had and how he reacted to doing what he needed to do when the Most High spoke to him. Abraham, ain't nobody talking about how much money he had, what kind of clothes he wore, what kind of food he ate. Same thing with Isaac and Jacob. Nobody talking about how much money they had, how much wealth, fame. Nobody talks about it. That's not what they're known for. Moses, he ain't known for having money. Yahweh ain't known for having money. They known for the actions that they put forth. They
Righteous acts.
right. So possessions, like the scriptures say, the possessions don't make a man. You know what I'm saying? And in this captivity, especially, it don't mean nothing. You know, you can have, like the brother was saying, $50 million in the bank, but that ain't guaranteeing you gonna wake up tomorrow. You can have $50 million in the bank, but your health is down the toilet, in the dumps. You can't even run down the street. What good is $50 million? I just wanted to bring that out. It's on you though, King.
Right. Good point.
Come on.
The precept. From that, let's go to First Thessalonians chapter 5 and verse 18.
Call it out again.
First Thessalonians chapter 5, verse 18.
First Thessalonians chapter 5 and verse 18. In everything give thanks, For this is the will of God in Yahweh Shai concerning you.
Right. So we got to give thanks to God for everything, in and everything that He done blessed us with. And if He decides to bless us with more, that's fine also. But He's only gonna bless us if it's His will, you know. And from to prove that, let's go to Psalm chapter 37 and 4. Psalm chapter 37 and 4.
The book of Psalms, chapter 37 and verse 4. Delight thyself also in the Lord, and he shall give thee the desires of thine heart.
Read it one more time.
Delight thyself also in the Lord, and he shall give thee the desires of thine heart.
Right. Commit yourself to the Most High, and He will give you the desires of your heart if He decides to. Uh, and the desires of your heart. We're not talking about just any and everything you want. This is talking about things you need. In some cases, the Most High will give you abundantly, but that's according to who He feels fit to do that for. He's not gonna give everybody a whole millions and millions of dollars. He's not gonna bless everyone with a six-figure job. So when you got your you said five-figure job, and it's allowing you to take care of your home, your family, your kids, your wife, be content with that. Don't worry about somebody next door to you making 300,000 and you making 60.
Right.
You still handling your business with the 60. And like I said, don't go praying and complain about your 60,000. Then that thing, you and lost your job, and now instead of making 60, you making 20. Now you realize how good of a job you had when you were complaining. But you don't want it to come to that point where you have to look back and see what you had once you done lost it.
Hmm.
You pray and tell the Lord, thank you for blessing me with this.
That's right.
And content, what you have to realize when you realize the Lord and bless you and you not complaining and you just keep pushing, He gonna bless you some more.
Right.
But from let's go to where were we? First Timothy chapter 6, verse 6 through 10. And like I said, y'all want to bring anything out, bring it out.
Con. I did want to get a precept right quick, King,
You got it.
before we get that one. This is Proverbs chapter 11, chapter 11, verse 4. Riches profit not in the day of wrath, but righteousness delivereth from death. So a lot of people we're not content of in our current situation, and we are discontented because we feel like, hey, we should be on top, like the entertainers on TV, or like the rappers, or whoever else. But in reality, when we living in Babylon the Great, you got to go through these things, And one of the things that the Israelites had to go through is poverty. You know what I'm saying? And to overcome that, you have to be content because poverty first started in the mind first. You know, it started in the mind. So then after that, then come the riches. Riches come from doing the work of the Most High. And when the Scripture says, "Riches profit not in the day of wrath, but righteousness deliver from death." So you can get any rich brother if he really it could be an Edomite too, whoever. Any rich person, if they could pay their way out of death, they would. You
Mm-hmm.
know, if they could pay to save their life for all it's worth, they would pay it.
But only righteousness would deliver you from that thing, man.
Hmm.
Only
Yep.
righteousness would deliver you from the wrath that the Lord is going to bring upon. So we not being content is a sad case, because as Israelites we got to be like pilgrims, as the Bible say.
Hmm.
So I want to bring out that point.
Hey, I don't know how many of y'all done watched the Titanic, but there's a scene on there after one of the main characters, the rich guy, the husband, once the ship had first started sinking, he had went in his pocket, pulled out a bunch of money and gave it to one of the guys who worked on the ship to guarantee him a way off the ship or whatever. And once the ship really started going down, he went back trying to get a boat. And the guy had told him, he was saying, well, I gave you money for the boat. He took the money out of his pocket and threw it back to him and told him, your money can't save you. You know what I mean?
That's right.
He thought he was rich and he got this money. He trying to get a boat, one of the little boats on the side of the ship.
That's right. That go perfect with this script.
Con,
All right.
con.
So, peace up, bro. So,
Yes, sir.
So from there, where we at? 1 second. From there, let's go to 1 Timothy chapter 6, verse 6 through 10. 1 Timothy chapter 6, verse 6 through 10.
Book of 1 Timothy chapter 6, verse 6. But godliness with contentment is great gain. For we brought nothing into this world, and it is certain we carry nothing out. And having food and raiment, let us be therewith content. Excuse me.
Mm-hmm.
But they that will be rich fall into temptation and a snare, and
Fall
into
into a
many
trap.
foolish and hurtful lusts, which drown men in destruction and perdition.
Read.
For the love of money is the root of all evil, which while some coveted after, they have erred from the faith and pierced themselves through with many sorrows.
Right. It says, for the love of money is the root of all evil, which while some coveted after, they have erred from the faith and pierced themselves through with many sorrows. So it said have erred from the faith and pierced themselves through with many sorrows. An example of how someone erred from the faith. I'm gonna give you an example of how someone can err from the faith. If you take a guy instead of believing on the Most High, staying true to His word, knowing that He's gonna see you through if you're doing what you're supposed to do, you decide, and because you want trying to live comfortable, you decide to be a dope dealer. You done erred from the faith, and when you out there selling dope, uh, selling drugs, one of them bullets come your way, uh, and take you out the game. You done been killed trying to sell drugs or whatever. It said that's an example of being pierced through with many sorrows. You know, you done got pierced through. You done erred from the faith. You doing something other than what you should be doing to take care of yourself or you and your family. You shouldn't be out there doing anything like that, selling drugs or whatever you selling, illegal things to take care of you or your family. Cause like the scripture say, have erred from the faith and pierced themselves through with many sorrows. That's what would happen. You would be pierced through. You would be taken out.
Right.
Sometimes people can make their decision to change and do what they need to do. Sometimes it takes for something um to happen to that person to make them sit back and think, man, I need to straighten out. Or for some less fortunate people, you don't get that opportunity to even think about or change. You might just be out of there, you know,
That's right.
and it's not worth the chance.
Hmm.
But from there, let's go to What were we, Timothy?
Before you get that, let me just go back over verse 10 right quick.
Get it?
We're talking about for the love of money, because I know us being in this truth, we understand what the root of evil is. But in the world, their mindset is still money is the root of all evil. But when you actually take a look at that verse, it said for the love of money. Love is an action word, you know, it's not a feeling, it's an action word. So like the brother was bringing out, to go off, to turn your back on this truth, you'll go in and start selling to your folks. It's what you do that is showing the love or the action or what you'll do to get that money. It's an action word, just like dealing with your loved one in a relationship. It's what you do toward that individual that shows them that you love them. You can say I love you all day, that don't mean nothing. But that person actually knows that you love them by the actions that you put forth with, you know. So when it says for the love of money, it's talking about what you're willing to do to get that money. To kill your own brothers and sisters, to sell your own soul like the brother was bringing out earlier, you know, just to get some paper, just to pay a bill, just to put yourself on a pedestal, living in a wicked kingdom. So naturally, you're going to be dealing in wickedness. It's on you though, King.
Okay, let's get Luke chapter 3 and verse 14. And these are soldiers speaking to John the Baptist. Luke chapter 3 and verse 14.
Luke chapter 3 and verse 13.
No, 14. Luke 3:14.
Salaki. Luke chapter 3 and verse 14. And the soldiers likewise demanded of him, saying, And what shall we do? And he said unto them, Do violence to no man, neither accuse any falsely, and be content with your wages.
You see that? Be content with your wages. That's what we have to be. Now, in some instances, like if you not making money, if you steadily drowning, bills here, bills there, don't have food. I'm not saying for you not to want a better job or not to try to make more money in a legal way, because it's nothing wrong with that. If you see the job that you have is not allowing you to live up to par, it's not allowing you to keep food on the table for your family. In that case, in that instant, you can be discontent, meaning if you working at McDonald's and you making $15,000 a year, then it's nothing wrong with you going to put in an application to try to up your status, up your your money so that you can take care of your family. And not sit back depending on the government to steadily pave your way and make you lazy or whatever. But bring that video out, what I gave you.
Hi. As J. Maria Gordon sits on the porch of her West Detroit home, helping with her 4 children dress, she is also worrying.
Because I'm in the process of getting evicted. My landlord has told me if I haven't paid up to $3,000 by September, I'm going eviction. So I'm in that process right now.
She says her housing problems are due to the COVID-19 pandemic.
I was working, but I have young kids, so they have to have daycare. And the person that watches my kids caught COVID. So I could no longer work. It forced me out of my job.
She says she's been looking for a new job and a new childcare provider. Meanwhile, rent has been piling up, and now she says she owes so much it feels impossible to pay it.
The 36th District Court sent me a letter saying that if I didn't pay the 3,000 by September 10th, that they was gonna go on with the eviction. So that's what I was trying to do, but it's already August 25th, and I don't know if I'm gonna be able to come up with 33 grand by then.
She's tried to get help.
You can stop.
The COVID relief
You can stop it, bro.
rental assistance.
Right now, in that situation, you can't not be content with that. You need to be out there putting in every application you can to try to take care of your kids and your house. You can't sit there and just scratch your head. You can't sit there and wait on the government and begging these people to do something for you. You gotta take it amongst yourself to get out there and do something to put yourself in a better situation. Because we'll look at people like that and if she was to decide to be content in that situation, what we gonna say? She lazy.
Mm-hmm.
We gonna call her lazy. We gonna call her sorry. Why she got all them kids and she can't? We gonna say everything. A person in that situation, she can't be content with it. But at the same time, if she not in this truth, it ain't gonna get no easier. So she gonna have to make a decision on how she gonna live her life. Start doing the will of the Most High. Most High to bless her and put her in a better situation than what she in. But the point I was bringing out in the video, somebody in this condition, don't be content with that. By
Okay.
no by no means no means period. Be content with that.
God. Yeah, yes, sir. I was going to say because a lot of our people, man, we recognize and we understand that we the same people.
Mm-hmm.
We didn't come up with a silver spoon in our mouth. You
Right.
know, we didn't come up with a 401k plan that our mother and father left to us. We had to get out the mud like everybody else. And so we have to really, really depend on the Most High and for all the things we do, just like our forefathers did. You know, we had to really depend on it. But this it ultimately it ultimately comes from us being faithless as a people. We are really a faithless people because we don't see anything happening for our people. So now we depend on our enemies for everything. You know, every dime they give us, every benefit they try to give us, we depend on our enemies. So now this sister, she in a bad predicament because of the fact that she relied on her enemies for so long. Just like a lot of us did. And now she really got to go out and get what she can and do what she can for her kids. But yeah, you like you said, King, we're not criticizing our sisters and brothers that's out here really trying to get it, that really need it. What I'm saying is the ones that you want to harm one another or lash out at one another because you don't have it and you want what they got. You know. But anyway, that's what I want to bring out, King.
That's right. Well, now let's go to yeah. Philippians chapter 4 and verse 11.
Philippians chapter 4.
Go ahead, King.
Philippians chapter 4, verse 11. Not that I speak in respect of want, for I have learned in whatsoever state I am, therewith to be content.
Right. That's what I said. If you're in a good state, a decent state, be content with that. Again, you know, like I said, don't be complaining because you want more. Be satisfied that you got what you need. You got all the necessities, what you need to function in a day-to-day life. You know, and I'm pretty sure all of us have wanted more than what we got. But that ain't. I know in my situation, that ain't something I'm constantly got in my mind. Every day I wake up thinking about something. I need this, I need that. I don't do that, and it's not on my mind a whole lot of the time. You know, I think all of us on this call are doing. I would just say decent. Well, we, doing good enough to live day to day a normal life.
Right. Let me appreciate right quick, King.
Okay.
This Sirach or Ecclesiasticus in the Apocrypha, chapter 29, verse 21, and it reads, "The chief thing for life is water and bread and clothing and a house to cover shame." So those are the chief things in life. Nobody said you had to live in a mansion. You had to live on a boat. Hey, it said the chief thing for life is water, having something to drink, bread, food to eat, and clothes on your back, and a house to cover shame. Those are the chief things in life. Anything other than that is extra. You don't need all that to survive. You need the chief things that the Most High just listed before you.
Mm-hmm.
Those are it. That's it. You don't have to have a fancy car. You don't have to have a big house. You don't have to have jewelry on and nice clothes. Those things don't mean anything. As long as you got the chief things, you good.
Right.
That's what I think you understand.
It's just like when you go to the car dealership, they trying to sell you the instead of the base model, they trying to get you the three levels up from the
Right.
base model. Instead of paying 20, they trying to sell you the car for 60.
Right.
You know, you ain't got to have them seats that warm up. You know.
It was who was the guy named? The guy that made Apple. Steve Jobs.
Okay.
I seen a quote he had put up. Well, not a quote, a little clip they put together right before he died. And he was talking about how all the money he had made, it wasn't able to save him. He wasn't able to pay somebody to take the disease that he had. He also said, in life, he realized that why am I going to go out and buy a $300,000 car versus a $30,000 car when the car is only designed to get you from A to B? He said, why am I going to buy a $300,000 watch when a $10 to $30 watch tell me the same time? You know what I'm saying?
Mm-hmm.
But the mindset that we have here in Babylon the Great is that we got to have a nice, shiny, flashy thing to try to make ourselves more than what we are. Like I always bring out, or even the stats will show you, the numbers will show you, is that we as a nation of people spend more money than anybody else, any other nations. We spend more money, but we don't have anything to show for it because we want to look like we got something going on. And fighting for the wrong reasons, but it's on you, King.
I think they be want to look like they got something, and because they so tired of not having nothing.
Why look it though?
I mean, I agree with you. You look like it, but you still have nothing. That's just like somebody walking around with all these gold teeth in their mouth, but they stay in the project.
Mm-hmm.
Or 2024 model car, but you in the project. It don't make sense. But from there, let's go to 1 Corinthians chapter 10, verse 9 through 10.
1 Corinthians chapter 10.
Yeah, verse 9 through 10. Chapter 10, verse 9 through 10.
The book of 1 Corinthians chapter 10, verse 9. Neither let us tempt Christ, as some of them also tempted and were destroyed of serpents. Neither murmur ye, as some of them also murmur and were destroyed of the destroyer.
Right. It said, neither murmur ye, as some of them also murmur and were destroyed of the destroyer. Who is the destroyer? The destroyer is the Most High. So going back to what I said, sometimes you complain and not happy and being discontent or discontentful, the Most High will get you up out of there. You know, it said, destroyed of the destroyer. We don't want that to happen to ourselves. So got a couple more. From there, let's bring out Proverbs chapter 27 and verse 20.
The book of Proverbs, chapter 27 and verse 20. Hell and destruction are never full, so the eyes of man are never satisfied.
Read one more time.
Hell and destruction are never full, so the eyes of man are never satisfied.
Hmm.
Man.
Right. Being the ones of us that abide by the law will continue to be that are not abiding by the law will continue to be discontented. And by them continuing to be discontented, that would cause them to fall into lustful wants, which would keep them, which would keep hell filled. You know, having lustful wants, you're gonna eventually do something you ain't got no business doing to get what you want. And read it one more time, brother.
Yes, sir. It says, hell and destruction are never full, so the eyes of man are never satisfied.
The eyes of man are never satisfied. They continue to see and want and love the things that they should, because they're not satisfied. When I say lust, I'm not saying a sexual lust, but you know, but we have to be careful of that thing. So
Uh,
from there, let's go to Matthew chapter 22, verse 35 through 37.
The book of Matthew, chapter 22, verse 30, 35.
22, 35 through 37.
All right. Then one of them, which was a lawyer, asked him a question, tempting him and saying, Master, which is the great commandment in the law? Jesus saith unto him, Thou shalt love the Lord thy God with all thy heart, and with all thy soul, and with all thy mind. This is the first and great commandment.
Right, I said this is the first and great commandment. So we should love the Lord with all our heart and all our mind, and not love all of these materialistic things, things that can't get us the kingdom, things that can't keep us on this earth longer. Our main concern, like I said, is to thou shalt love the Lord thy God with all thy heart and with all thy soul and with all thy mind. That's what we should be doing. So the title of the class, uh, dealing with a discontented heart, and I hope you guys got something out of the class. And anybody else want to bring anything else out, feel free.
man, it's a hip. I'm sorry.
Go ahead,
It's
bro.
like, yeah, I was gonna say, man, it's a heavy topic because in today's time, man, we definitely need this type of reminder to be content because if that's why Israel is all over the place, and you have the other nations there. They're yet rising. They don't have much, but they're yet rising. And if we can use an example of our Issacharite brothers, how they come over here to America with nothing, but yet instead they know how to work together and start from there, you know.
Mhm.
And they women are in line with them. Their wife, their children, the family, everybody's in line with one another. And that's what we have to do, especially as Judah. We have to do that thing here. We have to be content. We have to be so powerful, Lester King.
All right.
Yeah, I got one small thing I'd like to bring out too, brother. It's like if I missed a lot of the class, but I may be about to mention something that you already covered. I don't know,
Hang out,
but what I like to say is when the Most High gave us our commandments, we was warned, how to go about doing things. If we want to have more than what we do have, we was told how to go about that. We was told to keep the commandments and we'll prosper. If we do what the Most High say do, then that's the key to prosperity. You can be blessed and have more by keeping God's commandments. Don't try to take shortcuts
Hmm.
and don't give in to your lust of your own heart and thinking you're gonna go around try to make it find some kind of shortcut to get to what God say do. I mean, find some type of shortcut to get what you want to be blessed with. Just follow the commandments, do like God tell you to do. Is a way. Is a You got to stay within the guidelines. Just stay within the guidelines and follow that path, and God will bless you.
Hey, I
Don't try
got
to
a
find little shortcuts.
mm-hmm.
Like one of the 10 commandments. Was one of the 10 commandments say, "Thou shalt not steal." A lot of our people, we find ourselves stealing unnecessarily, but out of a lot of times we do it. Our people do it out of greed and lusting after what somebody else have. What they say, thou shalt not covet. We keep those commandments. We don't supposed to covet. We're not supposed to steal. We're not supposed to give in to any of these lusts and break these commandments to try to find shortcuts to get on what we may desire. Follow the commandments and follow the guidelines, and the Most High bless us with what we want. If we want it in the right sense, if we want it in the right way, we not putting it above Him.
Mm-hmm.
That was in the book of Exodus, chapter 20, and you can look at verse 15. Say, "Thou shalt not steal." Verse 17, "Thou shalt not covet thy neighbor's house. Thou shalt not covet thy neighbor's wife, nor his manservant, nor his maidservant, nor his ox, nor his ass, nor anything that is thy neighbor's." So we keep our mind on what we have, follow God's commandments, stay within the guidelines, and He'll bless us to have more than what we already have. If it's if we want it in the right way, if we're not putting it above Him, if our hearts is pure, our minds is pure, He'll give us what we want. He'll bless us with more than what we do have, but we just can't put nothing before His commandments.
That's right.
I think it was in the book of Joshua.
Okay.
Did you have something else, brother?
Go ahead. It's on you.
Let me see if I can find this in Joshua. Okay. There's the book of Joshua, chapter 1, verse 8. And toward the end of, I'm starting at verse 8, book of Joshua, chapter 1, verse 8. "This book of the law shall not depart out of thy mouth, but thou shalt meditate therein day and night, that thou mayest observe to do according to all that is written therein. For then thou shalt make thy way prosperous." So the Most High, we want stuff. We desire to have different things, but But we just don't need to be lusting after stuff to where we putting things ahead of him and thinking more about these things than we think about him.
That's right.
I'm gonna continue on. It say, and then I'm still in chapter 1, verse 8. And then thou shalt have good success. See, we can have something. We can have good success. And a lot of our forefathers had good success. You
Right.
know, they did. You know, just like Abraham, he had, you know, he had much. Let me see if I can find that right quick. Just read about that. It was okay. Let me see. It was somewhere in Genesis. It was somewhere in Genesis. It was saying how much Abraham had. He had a lot. He had servants. He had gold. He had silver. He had a lot of stuff.
Mm-hmm.
But he wasn't lusting after these things. He was doing what God told him to do. He was just being very obedient to the Most High. What you say, brother?
He was being, like you said, he was being obedient and he was being blessed without even asking for what he would receive.
Right. He wasn't coveting. He wasn't he wasn't stealing. He wasn't doing these things. He was just being obedient, following the commandments that God gave him to do.
Mm-hmm.
God told him to leave his father's house and go on into a further land. He did all these things. He did what he was commanded to do.
Mm-hmm.
And as a result, the Most High God took care of him.
Mm-hmm.
And that's what God to do for the rest of us who want to, if we desire to follow in the footsteps of our forefathers and be obedient. He'll take care of us. He already say we rich.
That's right.
Mm-hmm.
We got some that everybody wish they had, but they not gonna admit it. They not gonna admit that we have something that they want. But everybody want what we have. They're not gonna let us know that they want it.
Mm-hmm.
But we got something that everybody want.
That's right.
And we being robbed and we being suckered out of what we have. By listening to our enemies and listening to those who hate us. But we listen to what God got to tell us, we realize we do have way more. The whole earth is for us.
Right.
The whole earth is made for us. And God will give it to us. We got to do what He tell us to do.
Right. Good point.
But yeah, that's all I really had.
Good point, bro.
Yes, sir.
Anybody else got anything they want to bring up?
I just got one more, and we can go ahead and close out if you're done. 1 Corinthians chapter 10, verse 13. And you kind of went over this point earlier, but it says, there have no temptation taken you but such as common to man, but God is faithful, who will not suffer you to be tempted above that ye are able, but will with the temptation also make a way to escape, that ye may be able to bear it. So regardless of whatever situation we go through, the Most High is not going to put something on our plate that we cannot deal with. But the manner in which you handle it determines everything. You know what I'm saying? Are you going to have faith and depend on the Most High? You going to keep His commandments? Or are you going to go the opposite direction and revolt against or rebel against the commandments in order to try to pay a bill or to get out of a jam?
Mm-hmm.
Those are the things that are going to tempt you, and it's going to be left in your hand where you're going to have to make a decision to either be blessed or cursed. You're going to make a decision for life or death. But that test is always going to be there. We're going to constantly go through our tests throughout life. It's not just a study to get a damn good grade on a test in school, but you're going to be tested constantly throughout life, and the decision that you make is going to make or break you. So just understand that it's written in the scriptures, Israelite man, woman, and child, that you gonna have temptations come your way, but how you handle them makes the difference. And the thing that you're gonna go through is not gonna be something that you can't overcome. The Most High gonna make a way for you to escape every time. So understand that as well. But it's on you, King.
I'm bring out one more. 2 Timothy chapter 2 and verse 22. It says, flee also youthful love, but allow righteousness, faith, charity, peace with them that call on the Lord out of pure heart. So it said, flee also from youthful love, but follow righteousness, faith, charity, and peace with them that call on the Lord of a pure heart. And then what we have to do. It don't say with them that out there doing whatever they want to do. It said with them that call on the Lord out of a pure heart and to flee from youthful love. But like I said, hope everyone got something out of the class. And once again, I'm Brother Ezekiel of A.O.I.
Brother Ananias. Brother
Brother
Ananias.
Bay.
And Brother
Brother
Yakub.
Bay.
And we are A.O.I. And like I said, I hope everyone got something out of the class. And we'll see you guys next Sabbath, same time.
Shalom.
Shalom.
Shalom.